Today I am making some healthy snacks to have on hand for both me and our toddler. And while I do that, I want to talk to you guys about a goal that I have this year. I am not an expert at it, but I want to try it and I want to tell you guys my thought process behind it. The first thing I'm making is some chocolate muffins, and they have some hidden carrots in them, which I think is, I don't know, that's kind of fun. Good for me and my toddler. And then I also want to make some banana oat bars, so that ought to be really good to have on hand. Okay, so the goal that I have this year is to meal plan by the month. I've done this one other time and it was so helpful because it was just so nice to have all those decisions made for an entire month. And I really want to do that again. So like I said, I definitely can't pretend to be an expert at this. I've only done it, I've done it for 2 months. It was at the beginning of last year and I remember feeling like so on top of my game. And so I knew that I wanted to try it again. So hopefully I can be better about actually sticking to it this year, because I just feel like, and maybe you relate to this, I know that a lot of people do relate to this, I feel like meals can become such a saga. And my sisters, they don't meal plan, they're so good at planning, but I'm just not as good at it. Like, life is easier if I have a simple meal plan, and I'll go into what simple meal plans look like for my family, what works for us, but I still really hate making the meal plans. And so I just love the idea of having to do that 12 times a year instead of 52 times a year. It just seems so much easier in my head. I'm following a recipe that I saw in like a short video on Pinterest, and it doesn't actually have any quantities for anything. So I'm just gonna start adding stuff to this mixer. Okay, so I wanna talk about what this looks like for what I'm hoping it will look like for my family. So first of all, obviously I'm hoping it relieves some stress, and I'm hoping that it makes the meal planning just not so much of a deal. Like, I don't know why, I don't know if my brain gets fried or what happens, but literally it just feels like such a deal to do the meal planning, and I don't want it to feel that way anymore. So the first thing that you guys should know is that with my family, I have never done meal plans where I actually put meals on specific days. When I'm making the meal plan, I look at the calendar and I think, okay, like, that's a normal week or it's an abnormal week. And if it's an abnormal week, I'll adjust. But if it's a normal week, we need about 4 to 5 meals depending on how the leftovers would shake out on those meals. And then I kind of just go from there. So I pick the 4 meals, 5 meals-ish, and I just write them down, make sure I have the ingredients for those meals. And then that week, at some point, whatever sounds good, we'll lay out the meat and we will make that particular meal. I don't put specific meals on specific days. It's always worked really well for us. This just didn't mix up the way I felt it should have, so I'm adding pumpkin to it. Hopefully it'll make it like a little bit creamier. I am dedicating a lot of effort to being really kind to my body after having our second baby. One way that I am doing that is through food, and one thing that has really helped me is having an appointment with a registered dietitian through Nourish, who happens to be the sponsor of today's video. Nourish makes it super easy to meet with a registered dietitian. It is all telehealth visits, meaning you meet with your RD online and in the comfort of your own home. You can chat with them via the app and do all the scheduling within the app. It's super, super easy to do. It takes about 5 minutes to make your first appointment. They also accept hundreds of insurance plans in all 50 states, and 94% of Nourish users pay $0 out of pocket, meaning that this is extremely accessible. There are so many good reasons to meet with a Nourish dietitian. One is that they help you learn lifelong sustainable skills. They teach you how to grocery shop, how to meal plan, things that are not just fad diets and trendy. These are things that you can carry with you for the rest of your life. I have learned so much from my Nourish dietitian, so many quick tips that have just helped me meal plan and incorporate really, really beneficial foods for my body postpartum, and I am so grateful for that. Nourish makes it really easy and accessible to focus on proactive healthcare rather than reactive healthcare, which I am a big fan of. Postpartum is not the only reason to see a dietitian. Nourish dietitians specialize in a variety of health conditions. They can help with weight management, eating disorders, gut health, diabetes, and more. If you are ready to meet with a registered dietitian via Nourish, make sure to head to the link in my description. From there, you can easily book your first appointment. Thanks so much to Nourish for sponsoring today's video. So with that, I don't actually see the need to have specific meals for specific days. I think it makes the monthly planning a lot easier, because what I had done in the past and what really worked well is that I just looked at the calendar, looked at how many weeks were in that particular month, and then just broke it down by week. So I'm gonna start in February. Obviously for January, we had a lot of postpartum freezer meals, all that kind of stuff. So we weren't necessarily needing to meal plan a ton because it was kind of just whatever we could get our hands on. But for February, we're getting back into the swing of things, and I want to have an easy meal plan. So I'm gonna break the month down by how many weeks are in it, and then I'm just gonna start choosing 4 to 5 meals per week. For those 4 to 5 meals, I'm thinking it would be so easy to follow some sort of weekly formula. So there are certain things that we know we like to have, like pizzas, and then we can change up the type of pizza if we want to do that. I've had fun with that in the past, saying I'm gonna make a pizza every week, and one day I'm doing chicken bacon ranch, and the next I'm doing classic pepperoni, and then I'm doing a piggy and figgy, things like that. Make it fun and really easy because there's just parameters on what you're gonna make. So basically what I'm saying is I can give each week 5 different types of meals that I want to do. Tacos, pizzas, a chicken meal, we need a date night meal, and then, I don't know, you get the idea. And then that makes it really easy to choose the actual meals for the week, because all you're doing is just picking a different type of taco or a different type of pizza. And I really, really like that, because as we all know, for me, the cooking isn't the hard part. It's actually just thinking about the food. And this is definitely gonna help take a lot of the thought work out of food. This next recipe seems way less involved, which is shocking because that really wasn't that involved, but this one seems really easy. If I can find my pan. Okay, these are just 4 ingredient banana oat bars with some peanut butter, so they have some protein. Okay, so back to the meal planning thing. There are a few things, I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say here, and just a general idea of the concept. There are a few things that I really love about the concept of meal planning by the month. First of all, like I already had mentioned, I just really like when I think about meal planning, thinking about only having to do it 12 times this year, really 11 because I got bailed out in January by kind people who brought us meals after the baby, really just 12 times a year rather than 52 times a year. That sounds so manageable to me. Like I can do it 12 times this year. And I like that train of thought that makes it feel very doable. The other thing that I like is that if you do it once, then you have your framework, and in theory, you could just go swap out a few meals that you were really excited to try, things you saw that month, and then you could honestly keep a good portion of the meal plan the exact same and just repeat those meals. It's not like after it's been a month, you would get that over it. And so I kind of love that you could like do a little formula, swap out some stuff for when you're excited in the summer about tomatoes, that sort of thing. But like you wouldn't actually have to redo the entire meal plan every month, which makes it feel even more doable because that's like less than 12 times a year, which I think is really, really cool. Another thing I had thought about is that this year it's definitely a goal of ours to do some home projects. And whenever it's home project season, we usually like to do them like in waves. And I find that food just is harder to think about whenever you're doing home projects, or especially if you're doing kitchen projects, which we don't have any kitchen projects planned. But if you're doing kitchen projects, then it's like really hard to do food. I love that I could plan around having some freezer meals as well. So if I put an enchilada casserole on the meal plan, I could, or even the meal plan the month before, I can make 2 of those. I could freeze one knowing that we're gonna do home projects or we're gonna be busy the following month. I think that's all like really exciting to me and makes it all, the monthly meal plan makes all of that very straightforward to do. And at least in my head it does. I got the muffins out of the oven and the bars in the oven, and now I'm gonna start cleaning up this kitchen. Another thing I'm thinking about is having bulk ingredient stock up days. I love to make my own tortillas and my own pizza dough, and I really like the idea of getting that all done kind of with a friend maybe, and just having a bulk stock up day. I feel like that could take a lot of the mental thought out of food as well, while keeping it extremely healthy for my family. If you're someone that doesn't really struggle with the meal planning or the mental thought of food, then this probably all sounds like total overkill to you. And honestly, I don't blame you for thinking that this is silly. But if you're someone like me, I do hope that this strategy was at least helpful to hear about. Even if you don't implement it, it was something that you can think about and take with you. As always, thank you so much for joining us here. I'm gonna wrap up cleaning up this kitchen, these snacks, and yeah, we're gonna have a relaxing day, and I hope you do too. See you guys here next week.